Hey there, I am Christy Ruffino, former broke single mom turned CEO of 2 six-figure businesses and best-selling author with 15 books. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, I was a hot mess. Yes, I did a lot of things right, but mostly I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. Fast forward past many failed attempts and a few incredible victories, I not only get to share what I've learned along the way, I get to bring together top influencers as they share their empowering stories, insider secrets, and valuable resources that can be used right now to step into your power. So, if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, or possibly one in the making, and you're looking to create a business and life that lights you up, well, then you're in the right place. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. This is Christy Ruffino, and today I get to interview Dr. SUSIE Warden. Now, I mentioned this in the show, but I knew, or still know, of course, but I met Dr. SUSIE many, many years ago in the Chicagoland suburbs through networking. And I was always impressed by what she did and just kind of saw her from afar and just saw how she was just crushing it in business. And she was just showing up in her networking with such confidence and she was just one of those people that I wanted to know more about. I never did at the time. And a few years later, she reached out to me because she saw what we were doing with our co-authored books and she wanted to share her story. So I was so honored that I have had the opportunity to get to know her on a more deeper level and just see her genuine passion. She is a chiropractor in the Chicagoland area, and she's been on a crazy journey because her journey started with her pursuing a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology. And she did that for a long time. Her and her husband built a successful business, but she realized that there was a bigger mission out there for her. And she had a conversation with a chiropractor, and that was the pivotal moment for her to decide to pursue her chiropractic career. And she's been doing that ever since. However, she has another story that she's going to share with us in this episode today that turned her world upside down and kind of shifted her perspective a little bit on what she wants to do to serve people. She's still a chiropractor. She still has a vibrant, thriving office and employees that are, cracking backs, which is amazing. But she has now a bigger, deeper passion to help women posture up, live a more successful life, create the positive energy in our world so we can attract more and serve more. So without continuing on, I am going to go ahead and let's start the show so you can meet Dr. SUSIE, hear her story, and more importantly, learn the wisdom that she's going to be sharing in the second half of this episode, as well as the free gift that she's going to be sharing with you and the same gift that she is sharing in the pages of our Overcoming Mediocrity Epic Women edition. So let's get on with today's show. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. This is Christy, and I have Dr. SUSIE Warden with us today. Welcome, SUSIE.
Hey, thank you.
I am excited for today's show. Dr. Susie was one of the women who were brave enough to share their stories in our Overcoming Mediocrity book series, and specifically the Epic Women book. And she is very passionate about helping people based on this experience she had. And she learned lessons that not only are connected with that experience, but connected with her life's mission. So, or her life's work, what she does. So I am not going to say anything more about it. Dr. Susie, want to share a little bit about your story and why your focus is on this right now and why you're so passionate about it?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, as Christy said, I am Dr. Susie Warden. I'm a chiropractor, and I have been working as a chiropractor for, gosh, 29 years. I never thought that I would be a chiropractor, but when I found out that you could actually help people without the use of drugs or surgery, I said to myself, that would be great. So I had a degree in exercise physiology and nutrition from Arizona State University, went to Florida, met a chiropractor, and I really kind of thought chiropractors were a little weird, to tell you the truth. But when I met this friend of mine, she educated me about chiropractic and how it helped people. And I decided right there that that's what I wanted to do. So I did my prerequisites, met my husband, I had a few kids, we got married, and my friend never let me not go into or beyond what I was doing. And so she said, "You really do need to go to chiropractic school." So we packed up the two kids, we headed from Florida to balmy Chicago, Illinois, and I started my education. And during that, I had another kid, so I had 3 boys at the time, and, chiropractic school is like medical school. It's a 5-year program, and it's about a 30-hour-a-week job plus tests. So, needless to say, I had many times where it was hard, but I always learned from a young kid that hard means that you could be more successful. The more, the harder you work, the harder it is, the more successful you'll have it. If you stay comfortable, you're never going to get to where you want to get. So
That's so
we kept
true.
going. Right? You know that. So I just thought the harder I work, the more I do, the better it's going to be. So I started working right away. Had another child, by the way. So now I had 4 boys, and so I wanted to be in their lives. My husband wanted to be in their lives. So together we did the marketing. We grew our clinics to 3 clinics. We educated. I had development companies, and I just thought, if I work hard and I'm good to people, everything's going to be great. So one day, I hired a girl who didn't turn out to be a very good person, we'll just say. So she took my life in a direction that I never even thought that someone could do to somebody. But I stood back and I said, you know what? I have to fight this. And looking back, I thought, should I have? But I did, and she really wanted to take me out of the game, and I kept fighting. And the thing that really helped me through it was the ability to turn it off, my frustration, my anger, as I went into the clinic every single day. I had to be happy. I had to be upbeat because I was helping people that felt like me. So I had to be the opposite side of that. So I put my worry, my anxiety, my fear behind me as I walked in the door, and I was there to treat patients. Thank God, really, because that's what got me through. So my story is about not giving up, not letting people or, things in your life or challenges take you out of your dreams, because there are dream stealers out there and we all have met them. And really, that instance, I knew that I had no other choice. I had to show up, I had to treat my patients, I had to be a good employer. I had 3 clinics at the time. I had probably 35 employees. So I was running, and my lawyers cost money. Every time I'd hear from my attorneys, I would just, like, my heart would just sink down, but I had to posture up. And so that's kind of the lead in to how I got through it every single day. I left my worries at the door, and I postured up, and I had to treat my patients. So I had to have that upbeat personality, and that helped me get through it. And so, how did I come to meet you, Christy? Is, I thought at some point, I thought maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should just be under the radar, not be successful, because I feel like that's kind of what this girl wanted from me. Is she really wanted money. And so if I'm not as successful, maybe I won't be that much of a target anymore. Well, it'd probably be easier just to wait tables or do something like that. But then I thought, you know what, that's letting her win. So, and I thought, like, I have a story, whether it's sickness, whether it's divorce, whether it's, something that comes into your life and you really do want to quit. I have a story now that can help you get through that. And so I thought, when I met Christy, she's writing these books about epic women and overcoming mediocrity. And I thought, you know what? I feel like I have a story to tell. I didn't give up, and this is kind of how I didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, so I knew you locally in the Chicagoland area from networking and stuff. And I didn't know any of this was going on. Right. And so, and of course, we kind of like didn't really know each other personally back then. But you were able to get through that challenging season and not just like let it go. Right. Because sometimes we go through difficult uh, things in our lives and go through a difficult journey, and then we just move on, as opposed to seeing how those lessons, if shared, could help others. And so I give you a lot of I commend you for kind of getting out of your comfort zone and sharing your story, because I know you're only doing it because you want to help other people.
And that's the truth, it's helping share the story so that other people can go, okay, well, maybe I can use these techniques to strengthen myself so that I can come out the other end better. And that's kind of the challenge, is helping people overcome what they need to do and understand that maybe this is thrown in your life to let you go a different direction. I think that's what it is. Looking back, people always tell you, oh, those things are in your life to help you grow. And I agree that. I agree about that. But, it doesn't take the overcoming what you went through. And it's not easy, but I feel like it definitely took my life in a different direction. And I kind of like that direction. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Good for
you can
you.
learn from it. You can learn from it. You can't always go, I just figured I'd have more clinics and open more things. And I thought, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I need to figure out what my next step is in my life. And maybe it's not adjusting people. Maybe it's using this as a tool to help other people around the world. I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Susie, for sharing that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how you, the audience, can posture up and be able to get through life's crazy storms. So hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. This is Christy and Dr. Susie Warden, and we're talking about posturing up. And before the commercial, I know Susie shared her story on how she got through almost kind of like a business divorce in a sense. And we know divorces or just the animosity, the struggles dealing with lawyers, all of that can be toxic. And you were able to get through it, and you developed strategies that you want to share with our audience today. Is that correct, Susie?
That's correct. And you hear these strategies and they're very simple to do, but they're also very simple not to do. And I use these on my patients every single day. And the idea of it is simple daily disciplines done over time. You master the mundane, and and it takes your life in a trajectory that you can't even imagine. So very simply, I'm a chiropractor. So one of my big strategies is posture. Okay. Posture in the sense of pull your shoulders back, push your head back, chest out, tuck that butt under, and walk boldly. And a lot of times that's hard because when we're stuck in negative emotions, what does that look like on people? Well, heads forward, the shoulders are slumped forward. And what do you give off as that type of energy? Is negativity, sad, just they don't attract good energy with people. And you can look around and assess yourself. What energy are you giving off is the exact same energy as you're getting back. So when you want better things in your life to happen, you have to pull the shoulders back, chest comes out, and you walk boldly. So look at people. There's very few very successful people that have really poor posture. So that's one big huge thing is one physically to pull the shoulders back, push your head back. It helps your neck. It helps decrease back pain. It helps shoulder pain. It helps headaches, so many things as a chiropractor that I teach every day. But the other thing I realized is posture up in the emotional sense, pulling your shoulders back, emitting that positivity, whether you think it in your head or not, whether you're going through the worst day in your life, whether you're walking into the worst meeting in your life, pull those shoulders back, push your head back, and walk boldly through. So, one of the big things is assessing how you're standing, what energy you're giving off. The other things, I have 10 in my list, but I'll just go over a few. Um, are how are you going to take care of yourself? What are the things that are going to give you the energy to get through? Well, one of another easy things to do is how much water do you drink a day? We need to flush our body to create energy. Not drinking enough water is like the difference between a pristine stream in Montana and a swamp. Okay. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel like a pristine stream in Montana with beautiful water, or do you want to be swampy? So the idea of it is drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day will help your brain, it will help your body, and it will help your energy level. And I think that's another thing too, because you need energy to get through challenges in life. The other thing that I really think is important is eating correctly. Your protein, carbohydrates, not so much sugar. Because what does stress do? It wants you to eat more sugar and it wants you to eat more fat. So if we can kind of reduce those by eating more protein and really being aware of what we're eating, what we're putting in our body, I think it'll really help us get through this big challenge.
Yeah, so let's go back to your first tip because you shared a lot right there. So your first tip about posturing up and just standing tall, pulling your shoulders back, and all of that. I think depending on the habits we've created over time, sometimes we don't even know, like we don't even realize that we've got kind of this shoulder roll thing going on. But I know when for me, like when I stand up straight and I like walk in a room, I kind of feel completely different than somebody that's like meek and afraid. And the energy, you're right, the energy that you give off is what you attract.
That's exactly right. I love that because people don't realize it. Once you make them aware of how do you present yourself when you walk into a room? Do you present yourself this way or that way? And they're like, oh, I never thought about that. So,
Mm.
yep, that's the truth.
Yeah. And when you're emitting positive energy, you're attracting more positive energy, which is really just affecting your whole life. So it's not only about you walking in the room, it's about the energy that you're putting out there and attracting back.
Absolutely. And that's what we need when we're trying to get through these challenges is more positivity in our life. So if that's what we can do, it's free, it's
Yep.
easy. You just got to do it.
Free and easy. I at one point got one of those, I don't even know what it's called, but put it on your, like a little necklace, and then it hangs on your, and then every time you're like leaning forward, it like vibrates, and then you're like
Yes.
standing up. So I did that for a while to try to up or correct my posture. Of
Yes.
course, I still at time mostly sitting. When I'm sitting in front of the computer, that is my challenge. But when I'm walking, I tend to be a little bit better. But I think because I'm so used to sitting at my computer, that has become my norm, and it's a lot different. Yeah. So it's something that I think we need to all work on.
Absolutely. You know, it's three different exercises that I go into also. Is because you can't just go, oh, I have to have better posture. You have to work on it. And it's if
Yeah.
you spend 30 seconds to 3 minutes every day working on it, it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then water. I love when you shared the swampy, pristine stream, analogy, because it makes total sense. I mean, they say to drink a lot of water, half your body weight. But if I look at it from that perspective, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if we don't have the right water, enough water in our bodies, it's not able to flush everything out and be working optimally.
Yep, getting those toxins out and helping with the oxygenation of your cells. You know, it just helps. It helps the energy level and it helps us stand straighter. So it
Yeah,
all
it
kind of goes together.
does. All right. And of course, food. We know we have to fuel our body for it to work the way it's designed to work. So that's great.
Not easy, but you know, if you just make some little changes, it becomes more simple.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned too that these changes seem to be easy, but yet we don't necessarily do them. And so
That's the problem.
being conscious of these basic, uh, easy things that we could do, and retraining ourselves to, be more conscious and focus on them, develop new habits, will just make everything so much better. And then you have more things, but you also have a checklist. So I love this gift that you're sharing with the audience, because I know that this is going to be very helpful.
Yeah, the checklist is you can download the the details and then every week you can print out your checklist. So you can everybody needs a checklist, you know, did I do this
Yeah.
today? Check. Did I do that today? Check. And then if your week's not going good, you can check your checklist. And if your checklist isn't checked, you're in trouble.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, and the goal of this checklist is to make sure that we're keeping aware of all of these different, not only the three that you talked about, but more strategies. Is that, can you
Absolutely,
share a little
absolutely.
bit? Okay.
So a lot of them are, you know, just getting your steps in, you know, like what are you doing to move your body? Because if we're putting water in and eating right, you got to move too. You can't just be stuck to your desk because then the muscles get tight and the shoulders come forward and it's easier to have a slumpy posture. So moving, grounding yourself, you know, taking your shoes off, walking around on the grass or in the dirt in the garden. So good. The frequency that we need from the earth is important. Gosh, and there's some more tricky
More
ones
stuff. Well, we're
that
not
you,
going to
you can.
share all of them.
Yep, yep, yep.
We want
Don't
you
want
to
to give it all away.
know all the goodies. So if you're interested in getting that checklist, you just need to go into the show notes and click on the link that will take you to the gift vault, where you'll have access to Dr. Susie's checklist, as well as quite a few other resources from our past guests. So it is a treasure trove of amazing things. All right, Dr. Susie, I want to thank you for joining us today. I love talking to you, always love talking to you. And I love the fact that you're with us today to share your story and these great strategies.
Thanks for having me. It's been a great process. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, we can help other people get through challenges in their life with a little better posture and more energy and the ability to know that we're going to come out on the other end and life is going to be better. Sometimes things are thrown to us for a reason that we need to change our path just a little bit. So I'm excited to share this with everybody and thanks so much for the opportunity, Christy.
Yeah, well, and if you want to connect with Dr. Susie, her contact information is also in the show notes, as well as if you want to get the book from her and have her autograph it and ship it out, she'd be, I'm sure, very happy to do that. And you can connect with her through the details in the show notes. And of course, if you learned anything from Dr. Susie today, please share it with somebody you love, because you will retain more if you teach it to others. And of course, if you like our show, please go to whatever platform you listen. If you haven't already, just give us a review. We'd love to get feedback from our listeners, because the more support we have from you, the better chance we have of continuing to get amazing guests like Dr. Susie and all of the rest. So thanks, everybody. And most importantly, thank you, Dr. Susie.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Mastery Unleashed podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams by turning their mess into their greatest message and following their purpose to help the people who need their newfound wisdom and resources. To learn more, visit masteryunleashedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to this show.